Wait, I'm not ready. Everything's wrong. Ah! Brown chicka brown wow.
Yeah.
Howdy ho, howdy hey, and welcome to the hottest show in Plano, Texas, Misinformed, with yours truly, Missy Lou. I'm so glad that it's Friday. It might be rainy and gloomy outside, but it's sunshine today. We've got someone very interesting that's going to educate us for National Women's Day. I'd like to just swing it over and let her do her introduction and tell you who she is, what she represents, and then we're going to get into one of the scariest things since the boogeyman.
Ooh.
Yeah, thanks, Missy and Mike, for having me this morning. My name is Dr. Amber. I'm a doctor of physical therapy and a menopause coaching specialist. So I help women who are pre and perimenopausal and menopausal crush their fitness and nutrition and lifestyle goals through fun exercise and nutrition. So glad to be here.
Well, we are so excited to have you. And, you know, there's a lot of misconception when it comes to menopause. And I'm a 38-year-old woman on the brink. You know, that's probably going to be a journey that's not too far away from me. And I don't really understand anything about it. So I'm just happy to have you here to kind of give me some pointers and educate me on what I can expect and maybe some tips on how I can transition into it and not be a complete wreck like my mother. I love you, Mom.
I don't know F about this topic.
And let's educate,
Yeah.
you know, men too.
Yes,
For sure.
I am Mike with Red Zone Mortgage Group. Hello. I am not a woman, but I am here to listen, learn, and take notes on this beautiful International Women's Day. So please, we're happy to have you here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There is a lot of misinformation out there, and there are a lot of men and women that believe certain things to be true that are just not. But the average age for menopause, or the median age, is 52.
Okay.
So like the average age for a woman to experience menopause is 45 to 55, in that age range.
Oh, that makes me sweat thinking about
Yeah,
it. It's coming.
you feel
It's
that hot
knocking on
flush
the
coming
door.
on. But you can even start experiencing symptoms 10 years prior to that. So you back that 45 up to 35. So that's why I say I help 35 plus year old women.
Yeah, my gynecologist, you know, you go in as a woman, we go in for our annual, and she was telling me to, you know, anticipate premenopausal symptoms at this stage in my life. And I'm thinking, what?
Is that where the term geriatric pregnancy comes from?
Oh my gosh.
Geriatric pregnancy. Tell me more about this geriatric pregnancy.
So my wife and my wife is a doctor of chiropractic. Shout outs to Angel Young and love you, babe.
Woo woo.
We just had our baby about a year ago via home. Thank you. Our home birth, and basically she was told that past a certain age, I believe it's 35, which now makes sense, that you are considered to have a geriatric pregnancy, even though she's not like of a geriatric age, but it's just like a terminology that was told to us.
They considered me a geriatric pregnancy too. I have my son will be 2 in April, and I told you I was 38. And they also said that mine was a geriatric pregnancy. I was not braced for that kind of terminology, and I cussed them. And then I immediately, I was very hormonal. And so I cussed that I had to apologize afterwards.
Get the hell out of here.
I'm not going to tell you what I said, but it wasn't nice. It was awful, and we moved past it together. They're used to loose cannons in there.
For sure.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, so a woman's hormones steadily decline at a certain age. So men, they keep their hormones until they're much older in life, like we're talking 60, 70. But for women, that starts declining, the estrogen and the progesterone. So those hormones start declining, and then that's what brings on these perimenopausal symptoms. And so it does make it more challenging to become pregnant. And also another reason why it's considered a geriatric pregnancy is because, and did you know, because most men don't know this, that a woman is born with all of the eggs that she will ever have in her life. So when you're inside your mother's womb, you have all the eggs in you that you will ever get. You do not make a new egg every month. No, you don't. You're born with your eggs. And so when a woman has her period every month, with menstruation, she loses those eggs, and as time goes on, you have less and less eggs. And also, as you get
Interesting.
older and older, those eggs are subject to radiation, the mother's diet, all the different things that can change and affect the way those eggs are. And so it becomes harder to get pregnant, and then you're also becoming more susceptible to more genetic mutations, different things like that. And so all those factors kind of go into the geriatric pregnancy.
Dumb
there.
man
But-
question.
Yes, sir.
So would that mean like you're probably born with between 240 and 300 eggs or so?
Oh, no, we're talking
Thousands.
like 10 million eggs.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not your body is expelling it, right? And so our friend over there, the
Anonymous.
yes,
We have an anonymous listener.
likes the egg to be fertile one day. You're actually like there's so many chances to get pregnant because there are so many eggs that are being released from those ovaries at
okay.
once. So, but yeah, so there that happens. But yeah, as that estrogen starts to decline, that's when you can start to get those symptoms. But what's been frustrating historically with women, and there's back in 2002, the Women's Health Initiative released a study, and essentially what this study claimed is that hormone replacement therapy increased the risk for breast cancer, increased the risk for heart disease, increased the risk for stroke and blood clots.
Interesting.
And so what you saw happen is women everywhere were taking off of their hormone replacement therapy. Okay, so those hormones are replacing that estrogen and progesterone, much like a man gets testosterone therapy to replace his declining testosterone. Women were getting that. It was said to be unhealthy, so women are getting off that. And as you saw that dip in the estrogen and progesterone, you saw an increase in prescribed antidepressants, anti-anxiety
Oh,
medication,
wow.
sleep medication. Women were referred to psychotherapists and counseling, all because they were taking off this estrogen, which estrogen isn't just the sex hormone or the get pregnant hormone, whatever. It affects every system of our body, every area of our body. And so women taken off of that, you see those symptoms decline. And so instead of getting that hormone therapy, they're prescribed the polypharmacy with all of those medications. So anyway, since then, and this has been big news in the past 2 weeks even, the Women's Health Initiative has since rescinded those claims, and they've actually reversed that, saying
Really?
that hormone replacement therapy is not just, or it doesn't cause an increased likelihood of breast cancer. It decreases the risk for breast cancer.
Wait, what?
Yeah. It
Just
decreases.
like cigarettes are good for your diet back in the, remember the advertisements with
Yeah.
cigarettes being good for you to help your digestive system after the meal, have a cigarette. It'll help you with your
It'll help you.
digestion.
Before you go
and now we're like,
ahead.
oh, whoops, cancer. So I mean, yeah, I'm not surprised that we have some retractions along the way with our
Sure.
studies.
So, you know, you know, the estrogen, it's a very preventative hormone that we have. And so it prevents against cardiovascular disease. It helps keep your cholesterol in check. I'm prime example, y'all. This is crazy. I'm 49. I'll be 50 this year.
Woo.
I went through menopause 2 years ago. Menopause is the event where you have your last period.
Okay,
You don't know it's your last period until you haven't had a period for 12 months. Okay, because I had like, I think 10 months went by and then I had another period. I was like, dang it.
Well,
There
and,
it is.
and some women, so I've talked to a lot of women about this because I know it's coming like the boogeyman, and I'm scared. I'm so scared because a lot of the women that I speak to that are high stress with their professions are more murdery. And so
Sure.
my biggest fear is that I snap and murder somebody. So I'd like to prevent that.
Right.
And I just want to get in front of it. Like, is there anything that, I mean, I know diet, exercise, praying to Jesus, trying not to murder, thinking don't murder. Like, these are good practices to have. But what else could I be doing right now
Right.
to set myself up to not do jail time when that does happen?
Absolutely. And, you know, every woman's experience is going to be different when the estrogen starts declining, and you absolutely do not need to take hormone replacement therapy. There are very natural things to do. And in fact, there are some women that can't have the HRT. But yes, nutrition becomes very important. So things like keeping healthy fats in your diet. Avocados. We're talking the fatty fish, the flax seeds, all the the good carbs, the fruits, the vegetables, all those things that are having the natural vitamins and things that help keep our hormones in check.
I believe all carbs are good. And so if you're going to be a carb discriminator, I'd like to just address that.
Well, I mean, the way that I coach my clients is that, nothing is off limits. So there's no good food, there's no bad food, but there are better choices that you can make. And especially as you age, and especially us as women as we age, and because the hormones are so related to everything that we do, it becomes more important. So it's almost like a trade-off. Like, do you want that rage? And most clients come to me because of the weight gain, and this happened to me as well. Like this weight gain that came on out of nowhere. Like my clothes are fitting tighter. I'm like, I don't understand what's happening on my body. Like I'm doing the same things, I'm eating the same things, eating the same foods, exercising the same way, and yet here's all this weight gain. So that's
Is there a typical
traditionally why they come to me.
Is there a typical like a general amount of weight gain you can assume to gain when something like this happens? Like, what's the range?
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of women will experience like even a 10, 20, even 40-pound weight gain, like over the period of years, right? So these premenopause symptoms and then into menopause symptoms can last 10 to 20 years or so. So if you don't keep it in check, and a lot of it's related to insulin as well, and the sugar, which is in those.
Because I feel like my mother's had it for like 20 years. I feel like my mother was one of the ones that went through it for a long period of time. She still gets, I hope you're not mad at me for talking about this. She still gets the sweats.
Absolutely.
And it's been over, not the meat sweats. It's different.
I'm just here to learn.
The hot flashes, the night sweats where you wake up and you're just
drenched,
soaked that you have to get up and shower and change your clothes. Yeah, it's fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, fans that flame with the murdery feelings that I was talking about.
Well, as a loving husband who cares deeply, or because I'm sure every husband out there is a loving husband that cares deeply. How do we help out with menopause? How do we see the warning signs? How do we not get murdered, get an iron thrown on us?
I mean, you bring a good point. Like this change that happens in a woman's body, it can affect relationships, and there are divorces that happen because of menopause. So one of the things to understand is all of the symptoms, and my post today, my Menopause Minute, was about there are 50 plus symptoms that are related directly to menopause. And so
wow, that's a lot.
The idea is to start noticing these symptoms. And it's crazy, y'all, because I follow a bunch of OB-GYNs on Instagram who have incredible information and knowledge, but even these OB-GYNs that are menopause specialists themselves look back on their perimenopause years and like, I completely missed putting all these symptoms together to realize it was a result of the estrogen. So part of it is becoming aware of these symptoms, being able to help notice your partner and yourself, putting the pieces together, because I was the same thing. Like I had gotten out of a toxic relationship. I was getting my doctorate. I was working 2 jobs. My sisters and nephews moved in with me. So like a lot of stressful circumstances all at once that could have contributed to the mood swings and the intense anger that came out of nowhere. I'm like, who is this living in my body, and this rage, and then the weight gain and all this, like, this could be stress. Like, it just felt like stress. But when you're seeing all the different symptoms that come together, then you can do something about it. But Missy brought up a great point. Like, that this is coming, so develop the healthy habits now so that they're already in place so that when they come. But like the understanding, helping them see the symptoms, understanding that it's like this has happened to me. Like, I can't excuse it. Like I don't I can't excuse it if I lash out at you, but like I'm in my body looking at myself saying, oh my gosh, like, who is this person that's tearing your head off? Like, I don't know who this person is. It's not me. So like just an understanding and a patience that the woman that you've been in a relationship for, decades maybe, she's not the same woman. Her hormones are fluctuating, and being patient with that.
So what are some of the warning signs? Like if she starts watching Thelma and Louise a lot, or,
so some of the symptoms, like you get the mood swings, you get the
sweats,
you get the night sweats, the weight gain, which I know that's a sensitive thing for a man to bring up to a woman.
Don't.
Yeah, don't.
Hey,
She knows it's happening. She knows her clothes are getting tighter and she's growing like 7 more chins and all that.
don't.
But you know, so the weight gain. So some of the other things that can happen, like the bone loss. So this is interesting too. I hurt my elbow back in October, and it's still like it's 4.5 months later, and it's still because of the bone loss. I have a bad bone contusion in my elbow. Like it just is taking longer to heal. There's extreme fatigue that's related. Like you're just so tired. Sleep disturbances, whether it's because of the night sweats or just your sleep is disturbed because your cortisol is going off the charts and you can't sleep. Things like your high cholesterol, the
Blood pressure?
frozen shoulder is even something that's related.
Really?
I know, which is crazy.
What's a frozen?
Frozen shoulder, you literally your shoulder will freeze up and you can't reach above a certain height. It's very painful and you can't.
God, this
you
sounds like
lose
a
your mobility.
nightmare. I'm even more scared of menopause coming
No,
now.
no, and these are just all the symptoms that you can become aware of to know that's going on. But you know the things that we can do, and it's interesting because I mentioned that you know the exercise that I'd done in the past. Like I had 2 weight loss journeys in my life. One in my 30s, one in my 40s. One in my 30s, I was able to, you know, I joined CrossFit, did the whole thing, loved it.
Shout outs to CrossFit.
Shout out to CrossFit, hashtag. And it changed my life, and then I changed my nutrition and did all the things. But then when this menopause came on in my 40s, I didn't know what was up. And so that's kind of when I did a deep dive, because I'm sitting here coaching my clients that are coming to me, and the older women, the menopausal, perimenopausal women were having some of the same difficulties. And I was like, what is going on? So that's what caused me to do a deep dive. I ended up getting my specialization, my certification as a menopause coach, looking more into it. And we have to change the way that we exercise. So all the CrossFit, the high intensity work that we did there, and even in some of these you know, studio classes with the HIIT and all the high intensity things, women can't do that anymore because it spikes your cortisol and it's making it counterproductive to the exercise that you're doing. So things that do become important are the zone 2 cardio. So that's 60 to 70% of your max heart rate, staying in that. So going on a walk at a pace that's keeping, you know, your your heart rate in that zone, so that you're burning calories, but you're keeping that cortisol in check, so that you're not counterproductive there. And then strength training is something that's going to become very important, because what happens with women, the estrogen causes a redistribution of the fat in our body. Okay, so like we usually keep it like in our thighs and our hips, and then that redistributes to that belly area. So the belly fat, the minnow belly is what we call it.
The minnow belly?
Yeah, minnow belly.
Sounds cute and small.
It just comes in and you're like, what?
Shut up.
All right.
Yeah. And then like you try to eat anything, and then after, it doesn't matter if it's the healthiest food or all the carbs that you like to eat, the less healthy carbs, but you look like you're 8 months pregnant after you eat anything, and like it just comes. And so what happens, that fat redistributes, and so what happens is most women haven't done strength training in their life, and so that becomes very important, because when the estrogen causes the increase in redistribution of fat and also causes muscle loss. So you have to build that muscle. So strength training becomes important, and not just like those pink and purple cute little light dumbbells, but like the heavy dumbbells. Like grab those 15, 20, 25 pound dumbbells off the rack and use those for strength training and things like that to help with that muscle
Do you
loss.
recommend things like yoga and Pilates for strength training too, for somebody who's getting the bone loss and things of that nature?
Absolutely. Weight bearing activity is going to be very important. The yoga and Pilates, not as much for strengthening. That's going to be more for a toning. Obviously, it's very difficult. that is some hard stuff, and so I'm not saying that it's not hard or challenging or beneficial, but it's not going to help you build the muscle that we need to build. It's going to help you maintain what you have and tone what you have. But yeah, grabbing those heavy weights. And a lot of people feel safe in gyms when they're on the machines. And machines are great. They can help you build strength. But you need to be in that weight-bearing position that you mentioned. And there are a lot of YouTube videos that you can look on if you're worried about form or safety. Find those. Hire a personal trainer if you're worried about doing being unsafe or hurting yourself with some of the free weights. But yes, get in a weight bearing position. Grab the heavy weights. Do the strength training for beginners 2 to 3 times a week. For advanced lifters, 2 to 4 times a week. And then getting that 150 minutes of cardio. So taking a walk
150 minutes of cardio
a week. Yes.
weekly. Okay.
So
Yeah.
if you feel that murderous rage that
Yeah,
Missy
go
was
on a
talking
walk.
walk it
about.
off. Walk it off.
But
Walk
what
it
about
off.
jujitsu? Maybe get some.
Sure.
All right. Cool. Yeah.
Well, so again, we want to keep that heart rate in that zone too. So if you're
The Apple Watch can help you
it
kind of.
can. Here's a commercial
What I
for
think.
hashtag Apple Watch.
I just feel like because
This
you
segment
the
is sponsored
cortisone
by
levels.
Apple Watch.
The cortisone levels are important, and I'm hypertensive, and I've always just
Okay.
been hypertensive. So, I mean, even with my 2 pregnancies, I was, oh, sorry. What do you call it?
Haboob.
Damn it, if you don't quit it with the boob.
Inside joke.
When they put you on the bed, when you're on bed because you're,
Bed rest.
yeah, they put you on bed rest
Yeah.
because your blood pressure is too high. You are no.
When you're pregnant? Are you talking about when you're pregnant?
It's something that's it's very common for women to get. Oh my gosh, I can't
I
believe I
know,
forgot. Anyway, it'll come to me later and it won't matter. But because I forgot what I was even saying. Now I'm just mad I can't remember that word.
Okay, high blood
Preeclampsia.
pressure.
Preeclampsia.
Oh, okay, there we go.
So I had preeclampsia on both, and so I used to run. I did cross country. I know I keep hitting the mic too. I did cross country for most of my young years, and now I find myself just running my mouth more than I'm running my legs, and I think that that's affected, my blood pressure, and that's why it's higher. And I feel like maybe having that Apple Watch, especially as I'm coming into this premenopausal, because I don't really understand the cortisone spike, but I feel like my blood pressure is important. So like maybe I just want to make sure that I stay within a certain window of that whenever I'm doing these 150 minutes collection weekly.
Yes, and you don't necessarily even have to be that zoned in on that number. That's just
Okay.
a general guideline that comes from the American Heart Association. But yeah, going on walks, doing what brings you enjoyment rather than what brings you stress, right? That's what's going to help you bring that cortisol down. So find an activity that you can enjoy. Go hiking, go on a walk. I don't know, maybe that's on a treadmill. Maybe you're just on a stationary bike.
Yeah.
Something that's keeping your heart rate in that zone is going to be helpful.
I'd like to share a secret with both of you that I have kind of buried. And in light of National Women's Day, I'd like to share it because this is an exercise that I did that I found to be very empowering and very it connected me with other women in a way that I found to be very therapeutic and kind of like formed a sisterhood. I know that sounds wild and you're thinking, what in the hell is she talking about? When I was 16, I was taking jiu-jitsu, and in the studio they were also teaching belly dancing. And so I started taking belly dancing, and a group of us ended up getting to a point where we were good enough. We started performing, and we performed at restaurants and were hired for events. And I actually started teaching belly dancing. When I very first moved to the DFW area, I was actually a belly dance instructor in Denison at the gym.
Wow.
So, and I haven't done it since. I actually have enough of the belts and the corn bras and the outfit, the circle skirts, I even sewed a lot of my own costumes. I have enough to suit up a troop, that's what you call a group of us, of 12 women. And so I'm kind of thinking like it would be, and it was so therapeutic and it's so fun. And there's a mirror that you dance in, so you get to watch yourself and kind of work your, work your angle, and you got that core strengthened. And the music was fun, and then the girls, being in sync with each other. It was just a lot of fun. And I kind of want to get back into it. And I'm wondering if anybody has a gym.
So tune in for our next segment.
I'm thinking about.
Don't invite me back for that. I cannot demo.
But here's the deal. I don't want to perform. My biggest problem when we performed and things like that, anytime I tried to talk about it, people mistook it for things that were a little bit more tongue-in-cheek.
Provocative.
Yeah, and that's not something that I was trying to achieve at the time. I am kind of a conservative person, and so I just digressed and stopped doing it altogether because people kept affiliated with stripping, and I just,
one of my processors, one of my favorite processors, shout outs to Jeannie, but her name is Jeannie.
That's perfect for a belly dancer.
And she was in her mid to late 40s when she was our processor, and that was her every day after work. She would go.
It is so fun.
And she was so cool with it, and it was so freeing for her. I mean, she would bring pictures. She would show pictures at work. I mean, she wouldn't do it at work, but she would talk about it so openly, and she would lead classes as well.
I can't.
She just loved it.
I cannot stress enough how fun it was. And so now, as I'm getting into that angle, I mean, that as I'm guiding into menopause, I feel like maybe that's something I want to pick back up. And I'm wondering if there's a gym out there to let me just grab a group of girls and go in there and just have fun and see if I can remember how to make my hips swing and, just show some stuff and just have some fun for free. That's what I want to do.
Next
I'd like
Friday.
to set that up for the summer sometime and just see. So if you're a gym and you want to give us your mirrors for like an hour, that'd be cool.
Well, I train clients out of 2 of the Plano rec centers, and they'll have group rooms that have a dance bar and mirrors and things like that are open there's open public use for those. There's
I just
also
really want the doors
classes.
locked.
Doors locked. Well,
I don't want anybody to see.
I get that. Yeah. But no, yeah, find something that you enjoy doing. Pickleball's a huge thing.
Gosh,
too.
pickleballs.
Yeah.
And there's a girl at that BNI group, and she can make customized pickleball.
Jill, I think, maybe.
Yeah, and they're so cool. I was like, man, that is such a great idea for a closing gift on a house if they're near a pickleball court, because it's such a thing. It's such a hot commodity right now.
We're seeing a
Yes,
lot
yes.
of my wife is seeing a big uptick in pickleball injuries as
Really?
a sports chiropractor. So, yeah,
So what are they hurting?
Yeah, what?
Their ego, their ankles, their calves. They're just pulling things left and right. It's my best friend included is now in a boot. I don't know if he necessarily needs to be in a boot if he would to see a chiropractor. However, that is what just occurred to him last week. So, yeah, it's beware of pickleball.
You might find yourself
Sure.
in a pickle.
Moo.
Yes.
That's a pun.
And that's the deal. Okay, I'm sorry. I
I have a question, another dumb man question. So, if does contraceptives, does child support? What am I trying to say here?
Shut up.
Birth control. Does birth control prolong or affect menopause?
Oh, that's a
or
great question.
Is that? I mean, the type of birth control that you do. I know that there's pretty cute names for like some of the ones that are for lack of better words, I'm a dude, installed inside of you. That's my dumb question.
I cannot speak to the types of birth
you.
controls that
And I'm out.
would do that, but the birth control is going to help regulate your cycle. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the hallmarks or the hallmark of entering into perimenopause and menopause is when your cycle becomes irregular. Like I was a 27, 28 day, not even on birth control, regular person until it was like hit or miss. I might miss a month here or there. So
Okay, so you knew that it was coming on when that happened. Or you suspected.
when my periods became irregular, I was like, okay, here it is. And then they would just get more and more sporadic. So when you're on a birth control, it's going to regulate that for you. You won't have that symptom to be able to guide where you are in the perimenopause process.
Okay.
If that makes sense. So then looking for those other symptoms and being aware of those is helpful.
I will say from what I know as a woman, I'm a woman in case anybody was questioning, what I have learned through my journey with birth control is like I don't take birth control. I don't want to be on birth control just because I feel like it can negatively impact me and the risks are too high. So I just kind of let Jesus take the wheel. I had taken, so they had the patch, and I tried that, and it was too much. I was deathly sick. I mean, just so nauseous, miserable in the floor until I removed it. And that was like within 24 hours of me having it on. And I also had, what do you call the bar, the thing? What is this? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Is that my dumb question where you install it inside of you?
Yes,
okay.
yeah. What am, No, I can't remember
it
what it's
had
called.
like the flora, like
Yes, look at you knowing stuff.
Wow.
Look
boom. Can I get a point? Thank you.
so
Big time.
I had that too, and for anybody out there listening, like that can cause some major discomfort too. And I don't mean to be so forthcoming, but I mean we're talking about the human body. That can be very uncomfortable with intercourse too, because they have these two wires at the bottom of it, and if they're too long, or if you have a short vagina, a short wall, I don't know what the terminology is, but I mean it can be painful for your partner. So I mean those are things.
Yes, it can.
No, see, those are things that you should be mindful of too. But I've also had issues with my my attitude whenever I was taking the pills. I found myself having more of mood swings and also weight gain whenever I was on contraceptives. So I feel like for my hormones to be regulated and for my weight gain to be in control, that it was best for me not to be on it. I just feel like there could be so many more risks to contraceptives that we don't even know. You know what I mean? I'm not saying, I'm not against, I believe it's everybody's journey and you should do whatever you feel is right. It's just me personally, I struggled with it, and I felt like every time I tried anything, there was always problems, and so I just tried to steer clear of it. as much
Hashtag
as
pray and
possible.
pull.
Yeah, I mean, a woman goes through a lot just trying to, make sure that we're making smart decisions and taking care of our body appropriately. And you get through all that, and then it's like menopause, like son of a gun, because it can be something that's very scary. But if you listen to like the symptoms that she's talking about, you can kind of brace yourself for impact. So my next question is, when I start to notice these symptoms, and I go to my gynecologist or my doctor, like, who do I go to whenever I hit menopause? Do I just go to a doctor? Is it okay to go to my gynecologist? What do you recommend? Go to you?
Yes. So this is where this conversation is starting to be talked about more and more. And we are a new generation. So the generation before us
Don't talk about it.
Don't talk about
Yeah,
it.
I'm sure there's people out there that's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're talking about
Yeah.
this right now. How inappropriate.
Yeah, there's it's something that every woman goes through. You just have to put up with it. You have to suffer in silence, right? So we're coming out of that. And then we also had that study where women were taken off the hormones because they were unsafe and all that. Plus, you have OB-GYNs that were classically medically trained, and 80+% of their education, even in residencies as those specialists, are geared toward women who are pregnant, trying to get pregnant, trying to not get pregnant. Okay, so the menopausal woman is ignored, so that training is not there.
Awesome.
So when I had my symptoms, when my periods were irregular, when I was having some depression, was having the mood swings, was having the weight gain, and I go to my doctor and tell my GP and my OB-GYN, they're like, "Oh no, you're too young." So this is in my mid 40s. Which, right, 45 to 55, like, it's not within the normal range.
Yeah.
And so basically they're saying, come back to me when, you still have your period, is basically come back to me when you don't have your period anymore, essentially, is what they told me. So that's kind of what we're coming out of. So I am actually on a search for a menopause doctor here in the Metroplex that I can go to that will help with that.
Create a support group with that person.
Yes.
Get all these listeners that are listening.
Absolutely.
Yeah, education is so important with this, because our parents don't talk about it, and our parents' dang sure don't talk about it. So we really, the average person who maybe wasn't in the medical field or didn't do any kind of research, we're absolutely clueless.
Right. So what I have found in the meantime is there are online medical providers who are menopause specialists that you can talk to about the symptoms you're having. They're not necessarily going to put you on hormone replacement therapy if that's not what you want, but they're going to be able to guide you and direct you because they're menopause specialists. There is the Menopause Society that has a list of providers as well in different cities that you can go to for a provider. But there are a series of questions and a series of tests, labs, if you will, that you can ask your doctor to run if you're if you are worried about that. But
Okay.
we have to become our own advocates with our medical providers and
Yes.
even educators to our medical providers in this. And so I found that that has become, you know, just part of my charge is to be an educator, get that information out there, help women know how to advocate for themselves with their medical providers. And then as we're, you know, the doctors that I follow online, like they're becoming more and more women that are kind of ditching, for lack of a better term, ditching their OB-GYN traditional careers to become menopause
Wow.
specialists to advocate for women's health, primarily because they've been through it themselves and understood what a lack of information is out there. So it is coming to the forefront. I'm excited to be part of it. We kind of call it the menopause revolution. Yes, I can provide you with some things to ask your doctor, but
I love
another
it.
good thing is to start tracking your symptoms if you're worried about it,
Okay.
and see if it's related to your cycle, making sure you're tracking your cycles for sure. And when they become irregular, then, you know, it's probably
Not good.
getting to be that time. Yeah. So, but just keeping track of those symptoms and seeing if there's patterns to it, and then providing those symptoms to your doctor, knowing how to talk to them so that they don't ignore your symptoms and or try to give you the polypharmacy, right? Like, oh, I'm experiencing depression. Okay, well, here's your script for your antidepressant. Oh, well, I've got this anxiety now. Okay, well, here's whatever. And, oh, I'm having trouble sleeping. Okay, well, here's Ambien. So it's like you have all these symptoms
And
that
those
could
cause-
be managed by the estrogen.
And a lot of the medication that they're giving you has its own side effects that come on. Now you're going to be
Exactly.
dealing with things. I mean, my first thought with that many pills is going to be constipation, you know. But I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's so many different things that could, you know, challenge you
Absolutely.
whenever you're taking those medications. So I mean, I always want to try to lean into the holistic approach. And, you know, diet and exercise, start there. But, I mean, you never know. But
Blueberries.
I have,
Blueberries.
I wish it was
yes.
that easy.
Anti-inflammatory, great fiber.
I have a burning question, though. I have a burning question.
Yes, come on.
Is there a way to bypass the system? Like if I am starting to be premenopausal, can I just have like the ablation on the tubes, or like I have a hysterectomy? Like is that something that could bypass the system?
That sounds painful.
I would,
Is that crazy?
I would talk to your medical provider for that. I am not a medical doctor. I'm a doctor of physical therapy, so I do not know how to answer that question.
But I mean,
But so your hormones is what's driving everything.
Right.
So one of the things that your estrogen starts declining because you don't have, your body doesn't need to be ready to receive a pregnancy. So as we don't have any more eggs to
release?
how did you say it? Release from, I don't know.
Release the Kraken.
That is not. Shut up.
Yeah,
Well,
fair. It's
yeah.
fair.
So I don't know if that would be a reason that somebody would do that kind of surgery, but that would definitely be a question for your medical provider.
Well, you know, like with the cars, sometimes you want to, what do you call it, where you make it to where you can go faster in a car, you bypass something,
I'm not a car girl.
I wish my brother was here. Sometimes,
Add nitrous.
sometimes with vehicles you can, or like with a phone, like let's say you have an AT&T,
Supercharge?
you have an AT&T phone and you want to switch it to T-Mobile, so you unlock it, like you just bypass some of the stuff. Like I'm trying to bypass.
You're trying to unlock
Yeah.
menopause. Yeah.
I'm gonna bypass it. I'm interested to hear what, but I mean, I'm sure that's a terrible idea. You know, a hysterectomy shouldn't be done unless you absolutely need. I'm sure, you know what I mean, because then you have to take.
Maybe
okay,
like
so
weekly.
speaking
Your
of
body
that-
doesn't produce those hormones. You have to take the hormones.
So check
right?
this out. So, like I talk to women everywhere, like, you know, everywhere, and they all have some kind of like crazy story. And sorry, this is going to be like a dumb man story.
I'm here for it.
They're my
okay.
favorite story.
Your favorite stories, I know.
Just yell at me to shut up.
So she you know, had a new boyfriend, and you know, they were starting to become intimate, and he's like, well, do you want me to, you know, wear a condom? And this is like a 60-year-old woman, right? And she's like, oh, no, that's
Not necessary.
not a problem. And he's like, oh, when did you have your hysterectomy? And she's like, wait, what? No. He's like, well, don't, like, after a certain age, like when you do that, you just, every woman gets her gets her uterus removed. She has a hysterectomy.
And
She's
nobody
like-
knows anything about this.
She's like, no.
Let's have that guy on the
no,
show.
Like, no, not
Poor fella.
not everybody gets their uterus removed. No. So anyway,
That's wild. That's wild that he thought that.
misinformation.
That is, and there's
Yeah,
just so much misinformation. But you know, it's just you can be as smart as you want to be. It's all about having that quest for knowledge and continuing to grow. I know that we're talking about menopause and vaginas, but I'd like to find a way to segue this to home warranty. So I'm going to tell you that.
That's a good one.
Let's see, I can do it.
Yes, you can.
I'm going to tell you that I'd like for us to just take a pause and consider educating ourselves more, not just with menopause, but with things that can just help us be better in life. And something else that's a hard journey, similar to menopause, is the home buying process. And a lot of times we want to consult with leaders in the industry or leaders in the profession so that they can help guide us through the process. Like you would talk to a doctor for your menopause, you should talk to a home warranty company to make sure that your property is in prime position whenever you're getting ready to sell, or whenever you get a new home, just to give you that peace of mind. And Super Home Warranty is one of our sponsors. And so I just wanted to make sure that everybody's aware that Super can help you with any home warranty needs. We cover 35 states, and you can text me directly to get information on it, or you can go to www.hellosuper.com to find out more about how they can assist you. It's not just a home warranty company that can help you. There's other people out there that you need. Just like whenever you're going through menopause, sometimes just going to your primary physician may not be the best. You might want to find someone that's like a coach that can help you through that process, or maybe actually adding in the gynecologist so that you can talk. Same thing. You want to not just have a home warranty company, you're also going to need to have a good insurance company. And we love Goosehead here at Misinformed Texas. Goosehead Insurance is one of the best, and I actually loved them before I ever stepped into the real estate community, because I just found the best deals there. But whenever you work with people like Joey
Bertrand,
I knew I was going to say it wrong. Bertrand and his team, you're insured top quality service, and they get you the very best rates. And I know the insurance has gotten really high this year, and a lot of people are really stressed out about it. And I pray to Jesus we don't have any more hell, because I feel like it's only going to get worse if we get more hell. But his team truly cares, and they will absolutely dig in deep and make sure that they get you the best possible deal, because they care. They're not robots. They have families. They want the best for their family, and they want the best for you and your family. So consider them for any insurance, and please consider Super for your home warranty. Got it, guys?
that was impressive.
Yes.
That was a very impressive.
Bertrand.
I do not have any analogies for menopause and red zone mortgage, but I'm going to keep it simple. If you need a house, or if you want to buy an investment property, if you're a first-time home buyer, if you're looking to refinance and take some cash out, if you're trying to acquire more properties or build your real estate empire, we are the team to come and talk to. We are the Chiefs. We are the Patriots. You want to deal with winners, and we will help you get across the finish line. And that's all I got to say about that.
Well, and just to piggyback on you, the reason this gentleman is sitting in this chair isn't because he dresses so savvy. He is my preferred lender. I am a realtor, and he is my preferred lender, and he has made some enormous home runs on some very hairy deals. I've had clients that were self-employed, and when you're self-employed, you can find yourself in more challenges to get through the process. And he not only guided them, but stayed on top of them to help kind of push them and drive the deals in. And that's why he is my preferred, because he doesn't mind tromping through the mud and pulling you out and helping you get to the finish line. And my goodness, I only work with people who work hard, and he works hard.
Well, thank you very much.
And I am grateful. I do want to say one more thing about real estate.
Attention.
Listen, if you mess with a bull, you're going to get the horns, okay? If you are a realtor and you are trying to poach another person's client, it's wrong. It's a small community, and karma will come back on you, because karma is very much a real thing. My clients love me because I work very hard for them. and they're unwavering. My clients are not going to leave me, and you can take that and cash it. You can take that to the bank and cash it because I give them every piece of my heart and soul. I answer my phone at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm sending them deals. I'm writing contracts in the middle of the night. You don't got what I got. And I'm sure a lot of other realtors feel this way with their clients. When you have that bond and you're working hard for them, they're not going to go anywhere. So if you're somebody, I know that the market is getting hard, and sometimes we are getting dollar signs in our eyes, and maybe we take risks that we wouldn't normally take because we're desperate, perhaps. I just want you to know that not only are my clients not going to go with you, but they're going to tell me, and then I'm going to report you for ethics violation to the TREC. So please be aware, if you're messing with my clients, I will report you to TREC, and I guarantee you I'm not the only realtor that's going to do it. And I know that we have a lot of green agents, and I know that we have a lot of agents that are maybe seasoned and feel like, brave peacock, I get it all. And I'm letting both of you know that it is not okay, it's not right, and we need to play in we all play in the same sandbox, so we need to not kick sand in each other's face. And if I see you kick sand in another realtor's face or my face, it doesn't matter. I will stand in the way, and I will report you because I believe that we should do right by each other because the community is small. So I just want you to know that.
Well put. And off the record, I cannot wait to find out who those two people are.
And I wish you the best in all your ventures and success and love.
Adios. Have fun in Rhode Island.
I just, I had an instance with something like that happen. They tried to go around and poach one of my clients. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I see people do things like that, in the real estate industry. People sometimes are just tacky. But I've never had someone on the phone with me, nice as they could be, and then reach out to my client immediately and say, I can take you on and then and make this work for you and then help you with a little something extra at the end. Like, I can't believe it. A lot of times buyers sign buyer rep agreements with their agents. So, I mean, they're locked in already. So anybody who is a realtor can anticipate that agreement's already been signed and set up. So I don't know why you would do that.
Maybe they're a fan of Ghostbusters because they're all slimy.
That's funny. Well, you better marshmallow out because we're not going to have it here, okay, guys? Anyway, I just wanted to make sure that you knew that, just in case that agent's listening. I want you to know that I'll get you.
Shots fired. Do we have any gunshot drops? Not yet. Next week we'll continue.
Pew, 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 pew.
Yeah.
But with that being said, where can people find you? Like, where can women that are about to experience this or have questions, where can they find you?
Yes, on Instagram, I'm at Build a Better Body, and I can post that in the show notes.
All spelled out or any?
Yeah, we'll put it in
there. There's a little underscore in there.
Okay. Cool.
And then my new website's about to be launched, so yeah.
Oh, that's exciting.
buildabetterbody.fit.
Wait, before we end, can we just talk about your best friend?
Yes, my best friend.
So her best friend is a photographer and does such a great job. She has this headshot
amazing.
studio that is just really cool. And, I don't have time to get over there, but I dream about it sometimes, like daydream.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to say her studio, it's very bright, and she's got a lot of, she focuses on family portraits and headshots, right?
Yeah, well, she does headshots and she does events, and her main thing is events and branding. In fact, right now she is at Southwest Airlines doing a shoot for an event that they have right now, which is big time. But she does have the largest natural light studio in the Metroplex. It's amazing. She did my branding shoot last year, back when I had my minnow belly. So she will be doing a branding shoot for me for a new one. So she is Adelie Samuel photography.com. I don't know. I can't remember. But
just call her. It's her best friend.
Yeah. She's amazing. She's the best. Hit her up for your headshot needs or corporate headshots. Invite her to your entire office. She will come bring her
If she's got a nice
setup.
natural light studio, and we might as well just go over there.
Yeah. No, it's perfect. But
Where's your
if you
studio at?
It's in Carrollton, off the tollway in Trinity Mills.
Oh, perfect. That's right next to my wife's Movement Chiropractic office.
No, let's give your wife a shout out for her chiropractic too. If anybody out there is looking for some crack,
Not cracks, though. She does more deep sports tissue, so like your FDM model. So if you have any sort of, what am I trying to say here? If you pulled a hamstring, if you have tennis elbow, if you have Osgood Schlatter, if you have young children that are developing and they have a gait in their walk, these are all things that she can help out with from the jump. She's
What
great.
about a menopausal elbow injury?
If it more than likely, yes. If it has anything to do with your tendons and ligaments,
I got some torn ligaments and a torn tendon and
absolutely. So she can help
bone
you,
contusion.
and then she will teach you the training to help the stretches and the tricks of the trade to, get your body back into alignment, so you are moving correctly. So, yeah, shout outs to my wife, love you, Angel, and hashtag Girl Dad for Life.
Yay!
Yeah.
And to everybody who's a woman out there, happy National Women's Day. We see you, we salute you, and my goodness, you are powerful beyond belief, and we are just grateful to go into the weekend and continue to thrive. If you have heard anything that you have questions about, you're more than welcome to reach out to me, and I will link you up
Don't
with the
reach out
correct
to
party.
me. I don't know. So I barely.
He just uses telekinesis. No. Reach out to us. We're helpers. We're here to help you with different varieties in life. So just reach out. We're here. And I hope that you'll have an amazing Friday. And we'll catch you on the flip side. Thanks for watching.
Get in the zone.
Bye.
Bye, mama. My little girl, she goes, mama, in the deepest voice. It's really crazy.